did a Gold CREST Award when you were young. Can you tell me a bit about that, like how old you were and what you investigated for your project?
So I did mine between year 12 and year 13 in school. So I was 17 at the time, and I went to the University of Hertfordshire, which is kind of local to where I grew up, and spent 4 weeks studying kind of traffic light control systems, which involves kind of taking a little electronic model. You could kind of put it on a table. It had kind of LEDs and sensors, and it was all kind of tied into a little microcontroller. And then I was based in the smart laboratory there, which had all sorts of new kind of interesting technology, such as smart TVs. It had kind of cameras doing AI related stuff. So I sat there with some kind of PhD students who were doing their projects there, and yeah, just developed this system over kind of 4 weeks, wrote some code for it in C++. And then, yeah, by the end of it, you could kind of push like a little car on the model up to traffic lights, and it would kind of detect it. It would, if you had kind of multiple cars coming, it would decide the optimum way to, or manage the kind of crossroads to make sure cars could get where they needed to go in a kind of safe manner. And then at the end, I spent a kind of, the last week maybe writing a report explaining what I'd done, which was the kind of criteria required to get the Gold CREST Award.
Did you just choose the traffic lights thing, or was that like with Nuffield? Did they kind of tell you what to study, or did you come up with the idea yourself?
When I first arrived, we kind of discussed a few different projects that I could work on. One involved a kind of prototype robotic arm, and doing some kind of programming for that. And I spent the first couple of days kind of exploring the different projects before settling on the traffic light one, because that's what kind of appealed to me most, I think. And 4 weeks is quite a short amount of time. It feels, the summer holidays, you think they're quite long, but 4 weeks went really quickly. So I'm kind of glad that I chose a project that was pitched at the right level, such that I could make good progress over the 4 weeks that I was there and write it up.
Okay, so it sounds like you got to kind of see it through from start to end, whereas like with a robotic arm, 4 weeks, like you say, it's not actually that long of time to do stuff with a robotic arm. But with the traffic one, it was more, you could come up with the idea, see it through, write a report, so you could really, start to finish.
Exactly.
What skills do you think, like doing a CREST Award, helped you to develop most?
So I think the main one is probably independent working, because I think in school you've spent most of the year kind of doing schoolwork and bits and pieces, and then most people, it comes to the summer and you just want to take the kind of 6 weeks off and relax and go on holiday and do bits and pieces. Whereas obviously doing the kind of Nuffield research placement with the Gold CREST Award, it meant kind of giving up 4 weeks for the summer to kind of almost sit in a lab from 9 to 5 working on this quite technical project. You have to be quite motivated and independent to do that. I think the report writing skills, they were really, it was kind of really good to develop those as well, because kind of throughout my time at university, and even now in my job, it involves a lot of writing, a lot of kind of taking technical information and putting it into a form that different people of different levels of understanding can kind of grasp and get what you're talking about. So writing the report, you have to kind of know how to structure it and how to almost tell the narrative of what you've done.
Yeah, I was going to say, when you were saying about having to sort of get up in the morning and like the motivation to do it, sounds like quite good preparation for uni, because it's the first time where it's like your parents and teachers aren't necessarily going to make you do it. It has to be in you, the motivation to do that. So yeah, it sounds like a good sort of precursor to that experience. And like you say, this sort of creativity of how am I going to present this? Like you're not told necessarily by a teacher, it has to come from you. So yeah, that sounds like, it would have set you up well for university. Do you think the CREST experience, obviously you did engineering at Cambridge, do you think that doing a CREST Award helped you with your university application and admission?
Yeah, I think it was, a really good thing to kind of put on the UCAS application, and I think it just gave a really good kind of talking point in interviews. So quite a few of the university interviews I did, they're not, I think people think it's going to be testing on very specific things, which in some of them they do, but a lot of them they just want to be able to talk to you and see how you think and see how you kind of see how your mind works in exploring kind of technical ideas. And they want something that you're familiar with, such that they can ask you questions about it, and see what you know and how you think. And this project was perfect for that, because it was kind of a technical project which I'd spent quite a lot of time doing, so there was an expectation that I kind of knew what I was talking about. So yeah, it was really good. I think it demonstrates as well to universities that you're committed to your subject, because I think whenever you say something, you want to try and back it up with evidence of I enjoy engineering, full stop. Is okay, so like why do you enjoy engineering? Why do you want to study it? And it's like, okay, so I enjoy engineering, so I've gone and spent 4 weeks of my summer in a lab working on an engineering related project. It just kind of adds a lot more kind of impact to what you're saying. And I think being able to kind of talk about it in your personal statement and stuff like that was really useful. Yeah.
Do you think that doing the CREST Award helped you gain the confidence and skills to study engineering?
I think it's always hard applying to university, because you're there. You've kind of studied, maybe maths, physics, the sciences at kind of GCSE and A level. And then it's like, so I've never actually really studied engineering before. So, what's it going to be like? Am I going to get there? And is it going to be what I was expecting? Or is it going to be, this impossible thing that I can't do? So I think it does help your confidence.
You now work at Mewburn Ellis. So can you tell me what your current job title is and like what department you work in?
So I'm currently training to be a patent attorney at Mewburn Ellis. So yeah, I work in the engineering team. So generally kind of patent attorney law firms kind of split their teams by engineering, chemistry and life sciences. So yeah, having studied engineering, I'm in the engineering team. Patent attorneys deal with technical inventions, but they also have to kind of fuse that with the law. So an understanding of the meaning of words is something that is really important. And again, kind of as I was saying before, communication skills are really, really important.
Oh, that's great. And it's interesting when you're saying about there's the sciences, but then it's like blending it with law, because we're quite keen with like sort of encouraging students to kind of engage with STEM, to show the kind of cross-curricular aspects of it and the way it kind of is part of like almost every aspect of life and different types of careers you might not have thought of. And I personally have never really thought about science and law, like where they meet. So it's quite interesting. They said that's what you do. You have to kind of, it's all very well having an invention and funding it, but yeah, there is the intellectual property side of it. It might be something that a lot of students might never have occurred to them. So that's,
absolutely. I just find the job fascinating, because you've got the scientific side of it in terms of understanding the inventions themselves, but then you can have the best understanding in the world, but you've got to consider it within the law and how that plays into it as well. And I think a lot of people don't know that to become a patent attorney, you don't need a law degree. You actually learn all the law on the job, and kind of the only thing you really need is a STEM degree. You
helped out with a Mewburn Ellis Discovery Day at Abraham Moss Community School. So what did the students do on the day, and how did you find out about that opportunity to get involved in the Discovery Day?
On the day, I think there were about 24, I think year 8 or year 9 students from a kind of local school in Manchester came along to our offices for the day. The students were kind of split into about 4 to 5 teams, I think it was, and were given the kind of some sustainable products to look at, because obviously sustainability is something that's really important. And at Mewburn, I think we've just launched a special report on kind of sustainable inventions and green technology. So the day was really focused around that and what sustainability means and how products can be made more sustainable. So I think one example was a kind of wooden toothbrush, which the students kind of looked at, and then we kind of split into groups, and each group was assigned someone from Mewburn to kind of work with them. So we spent about an hour discussing sustainable inventions and how, what makes a wooden toothbrush perhaps more sustainable than a plastic toothbrush, and just kind of exploring with the students, all the different considerations that there are in terms of how something, is sustainable. So that was really nice just to kind of hear what they had to say and their ideas. And then the kind of main task for the day was coming up with a sustainable invention for the team to present at the end of the day. So yeah, then we spent the rest of the day kind of brainstorming ideas and creating a kind of poster about the invention. Each member of the team had their own kind of responsibilities in terms of one student focused on the maybe more technical aspects of the invention, one student focused on kind of pricing of the invention and marketing it and coming up with like a logo and a brand for the invention. Yeah, it was really nice because the students were in about, I think the team size was about four to five, and just the discussion between team members, and if they had any questions they could kind of ask me and my team. It was a really, really good day. And I was just super impressed by the kind of the ideas the students were coming up with, and their kind of level of thinking and all the different considerations. It was really, really good and enjoyable to kind of work with them and talk to them about sustainability, because it is a big thing, and especially for them and going through, they're at obviously a very early stage, kind of GCSE options, A-level options, university options, other options. So it's really nice to kind of talk to them and hopefully inspire them to, a career in STEM.
So what would you like to share with young people who aspire to a career in STEM?
A really important thing is there are lots of opportunities out there, and obviously not everyone has the same exposure to these opportunities. I was very lucky because my school was promoted a lot of them, and just made people aware. And I think it's that awareness that if you don't know what's out there, it's really hard to kind of go and explore it and try it out. And with the internet, you can get kind of access what's out there more easily. And I think just being able to kind of see the opportunities that are there, apply for them, and there is funding available to allow people to go and experience these opportunities. And just like the Nuffield research placement, all those providers are saying we want students to come and experience what it's like to work in a research institution, or for a company, or things like that. And I think it's just really important to kind of know what's out there, and if you can go and give things a try.